bless her darling soul. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you that homework should not be banded in school.
Why should you banded it?
Yeah. I think that there are sometimes when all of us just sit down, just play it, let's laugh.
Ufoma, Sheriff froze when he heard banded. And we all decided maybe we did not hear right. Let's listen again. And she goes, number one reason why homework should not be banded is that we heard bagang again. That was when all of us burst into laughter. That was when Sheriff, everybody, we could not hold ourselves. We just burst into laughter.
It can be fun, you know. It can be comic relief,
oh Lord.
You know. But again, like you said, it's one thing to be at home, record, you know, look through your scripts and all of that. It's another thing to come into the studio with no pen and paper out there when you come in. You know, or you're given a pen and paper and then you jot the major headlines. Yeah. You now have to express yourself, not just about what you've crammed, but understanding what the topic is, because you would also have to go through another round where you have to rebut what you have heard. You know, because for me, it's the rebuttal that usually tells me how good you are as a debater, because it's
easy, but extemporaneous. You are responding. You are reacting
on the spot.
On the spot.
Even though you know, you also have to think that as good debaters, you should anticipate what your opponents will say. But it's one thing to anticipate. It's another thing to know exactly you know what your opponents say, and then find the quick response. Also find the data to back up some of your rebuttals.
That's right.
So I have to be honest. You might think I want to praise myself, but I was a good debater in school. But
Femi says the same thing.
But truth be told, I was. At least people who
even Ken is looking at you like.
See, Ken.
Yvonne, did you ever lose
I will ban Ken. Don't worry.
Oh my goodness.
Did you ever lose one?
I don't remember losing one, but I do remember losing at home because my grandma would always spank me. Oh my goodness, my grandma had a name for me. She called me Bebe Lube because I remember vividly one time we were on public holiday. I argued with my grandma that school was in session, that I had to go to.
What is Bebe Lube?
That is it. It's you know, talkative. She used to call me talkative.
Yeah, if you didn't go, if you went to a fancy school, you wouldn't know.
I didn't go to a fancy school.
Yeah. Where did you school? How did you even know Bebe Lube?
I grew up in Port Harcourt. I'm a Port Harcourt baby girl. I was born in Port Harcourt.
You're not supposed to know Bebe Lube in Ibadan.
My grandma could speak Yoruba fluently.
No wonder.
She was well traveled.
I didn't school Lube.
You have to be Ibadan. Even maybe Lagos guys. Well, Lagos guys would probably know Bebe Lube.
So she told
I schooled in the East. Maybe that's why.
Oh my God!
You probably called it something else.
Yes. So I attended. Then I was in primary school. I'm talking about primary school. Command Children's School, Port Harcourt. The school had declared a public holiday. I told my grandma that my teacher said I should come to school. That school was. She let me go. She let me go. I went to the school and I was the only person. And when I said hi, everywhere echoed. I ran back.
Did you clap for yourself? You won the debate.
When I got home, my grandma looked at me and said, "Come."
Give me a good.
She gave me a conk. You argue too much. Argumentation. You argue too much.
You are still like that, actually.
That's actually my 5-year-old daughter. She's literally asking you questions.
I love her. I love her for that.
Shut up. She's asking you one way you ask, you know. But again, it's good. You know, it's good to see these kids, 15, 14, 13. As far as I'm concerned, the person that more or less impressed me the most lost in the round of 16. The 13-year-old, I think he lost to Olajolo.
Asukwa.
Yes.
Yeah, that child.
Oh my
goodness. I'm actually looking forward to seeing him again.
Yes.
You know, next season.
Yeah.
And I would hazard a guess and say if Olajolo is in the final, then it means that it was someone really, you know, really great that had to
Asukwa
get him
was
up.
marvelous.
Oh, because at 13,
to think his name is actually marvelous.
Olajolo was deceptive. We just played his first.
Yes.
You know, he didn't strike you then. we'll now go to his round of 16 where he started getting notice. Olajolo and Ilechukwu. So we're going to be playing. Oh, by the way, the chief judge joins us. Could you please,
Dr.
could you give Dr. Ngbeadiche a voice? I don't know. We're hoping he will join us in person, but I think he's still in transit.
Dr. Ngbeadiche, are you there?
Can you talk? Or maybe he cannot talk. As soon
I can.
Oh, brilliant. Pleasure having you join us as we prepare for the big one. Welcome. So we were just going over what we've experienced so far. We were just at this juncture where we wanted to play the round of 16 debates of the finalists, Akinloluwa, Olajolo, and Ilechukwu, Malizu. So let's go there, and then we'll come back.
The youth who dare to challenge the status quo, who possess the critical ability to think for themselves and understand their place in shaping the future.
Higher education increases employment. Statistics from UNESCO found that 30% of graduates are more likely to secure employment than not graduates, increasing its role in economic stability.
Higher education is driven by external validation that erodes both individual identity and social cohesion. 75% of students in the American Psychological Association show that they suffer from anxiety. They are tried by grades and title. I ask, what remains of a person's identity if it's only measured by external validation? The disconnect spreads as the person removes themselves from meaningful relationship, causing identity crisis that damages self-exploration and personal growth.
Higher education increases economic mobility. A Harvard Research Institute indicates that higher education is a key driving factor to social mobility, helping individuals to escape from poverty. Higher education increases knowledge economy. With the rise of knowledge economy, 80% of the fastest growing job requires post-secondary education, as highlighted by the World Economic Forum.
Higher education mirrors our colonizers' legacy, where Western ideals are worshipped as the pinnacle of success. This isn't just about academics. It's about surrendering a piece of our cultural identity to Western ideals. This same Western, with each degree that glorifies the West, we inch closer to a generation that no longer knows its strength, a generation that no longer holds identity. This isn't education. It's a silent erasure of who we are.
Higher education equips individuals with a broad skill set, increasing their adaptability in a global changing job market. Higher education reduces unemployment rate. Studies have shown that countries with a higher number of graduates tend to have low youth employment. For example, Germany low youth employment is tied to strong educational system.
In my own research, the statistics shows that 80% of jobs will need the soft skills, not will face towards employment and other things, which also makes us question how can we also see if the other authorities you brought up are genuine or if they're just fake.
In my opinion, say that higher education places pressure on an individual, which can lead to mental health issues. But it's not only in a schooling environment that pressure may take place. Any competitive environment like businesses, sports, personal ambition may require pressure, and even this debate that I didn't get may require pressure and stress. Apart from that, pressure and stress is a necessity of life. If one cannot cope under it, one may not be able to succeed in life. So my opponent, instead of focusing on the existence of pressure, we should focus on how to manage it effectively to succeed.
You spoke on Germany. This contradicts you. Germany focuses on a vocational system way of education. Germany is one of the only countries today that has an education system that is based on vocational skills. You also failed to answer the question of pressure. You did not give us a suitable answer to if there's pressure, if pressure will be here, or if pressure will leave in the next 110 years. You didn't give us a way to mitigate that pressure.
And it is clear. It's a 30.5 swing for the winner by 138.5 to 108. Congratulations to you, Olajolo Akinloluwa of Wellspring College. You progress. You are the first quarterfinalist in this debate. Well done. Well, Ufoma called for it. That was that debate between Olajolo and Marvel Asukwo.
Yes.
Said, think about it. Marvel, 12 years old?
Yes.
12 years old.
I couldn't believe it.
Olajolo, 14.
13. Olajolo is 13.
Is it 13 or 14?
He is 13.
He's 13. Okay. Olajolo is 13. And this guy, you could tell the 1 year swing. So you look at it and say the next time, at some point, we will see a Marvel at 13, 14.
That's right.
And, we'll see what debate monstrosity he turns into. But you know, you look at these kids and you say at this point, you know, their mind, their thinking, the ideas.
It's way out of where I thought they would be, because if I go back 35 years ago.
From how old were you? 35 years ago.
30 years ago, I was in secondary school.
Secondary school.
I mean, because you said 35 years ago.
No, I
know your age.
Notice that I paused when I said 35. Because wait, 30 years ago is when 1980. Is it 1980 or 1990?
1994.
So I got into
Wait,
secondary.
my math isn't great.
I got into
it's
secondary
94. Yeah.
94.
Yeah, I was in JS3 94. So 30 years ago, I was in secondary school. You know, maybe we're not dealing with too much of complex topics like this. You know, we're probably dealing with
a teacher is better than a lawyer.
Better than lawyer.
English is better than math.
You know, but I'm listening to them, and they're talking complex issues like
That's
governance,
right.
politics. You know,
Topics they have no right to be talking
You
about.
understand?
Now, again, we've got to say thanks to their teachers and their parents. They help them.
True.
But it's one thing to help find you the points. But like you mentioned, when it comes to the rebuttal round, your
You have to
brilliance,
think.
your own quality comes out.
On your feet.
You are like, Ogbeni, what are you saying?
Exactly. And usually, I probably haven't checked the stats, but usually the best rebutters turn out to be the
Best debaters. That's right.
The rebuttal round is really brilliant. Let's pivot to Malizu's own round of 16 debate.
Funny how this may sound, but try checking it out. Do you know that the most consistent supposed behavior that people ask God to overlook and not judge them with is lying? Again, do you know that no one goes a full day without lying at least 3 times? In education, while sitting for your English exams, you'll be asked to make a lot of assumption in your essay, and in your bid to drive your points home at times, you are forced to make a lot of exaggeration. English can call it assumption, opinion, exaggeration, and so on, but a lie is still a lie. Permit me to state here that it is acceptable to lie in order to maintain confidentiality, especially in therapy or counseling. For instance, counselors in psychology encounter patients with both physical and emotional threatening issues, which when exposed can endanger social cohesion as well as the acceptability of the patients in the society. You can call it privacy policy or confidentiality, but I can categorically tell you that professionals in the field of counseling and human psychology will continuously need to lie in order to protect your patients.
It should never be acceptable to lie because lying is immoral and unethical. It is a moral transgression because it involves purposefully, intentionally, or knowingly making someone believe what is false. It is deceptive and manipulative. In addition, even the law does not accept lies. The Nigerian Constitution does not deem lying acceptable as Section 117, 120, and 125A of the Criminal Code Act all provide criminal sanctions for lying.
Lies are acceptable in order to protect relationships. 3 out of every 5 relationships that have led to marriages have serious secrets that if the partners involved in such relationships ever get to expose themselves, they will definitely jeopardize such relationship and destroy their trust.
If lies were made acceptable, our life would be hard, as it would be difficult to take any statement seriously, and as it truth to become elusive, and we have to constantly check the motives of others.
Lies are acceptable in order to protect our loved ones and friends from impending danger. It could be scourge from our parents, it could be physical harm or attack, and even life-threatening situations. Such lies, my dear listeners, are very much permitted and approved. Frankly speaking, lies are acceptable when dealing with a dishonest boss in a toxic environment.
Lying violates human dignity and autonomy. It violates free will. It violates the ability to make free and rational choices because lies lead people to decide other than they would have if they had known the truth.
In Joshua chapter 2 verse 3 to 4, Rahab the prostitute had to lie in order to protect the spies, and it was counted unto her for righteousness because she was eventually saved. In Exodus 1 verse 15 to 17, the Hebrew midwife had to lie in order to protect the sex of the babies of the Hebrew women, and yet the Bible regarded them as blessed women.
You mentioned we lie for greater good. The term greater good is usually used to justify harmful situations. That term greater good is used for political gain, for ideological gain. See, once we give an exception to lying, we're opening giving the opening the door where more situations will be rationalized for lying.
I had my opponent saying lying undermines trust. But may I put it to you that honesty can prove to be more harmful in this situation. For instance, revealing a surprise party or a confidential secret. And in fact, it even though it's the truth, but it actually make one look loquacious at times.
Just because you want to maintain privacy, that doesn't mean you should lie. You can always avoid the question, or simply say, "Oh, I can't say it. This is confidential information. I can't give it out."
To my amiable co-debater, please no insults meant, but I'd like to put it to you, for you to tell me you haven't lied to save a situation or your head from being burnt before, that itself is a big fat lie.
Here is how the judges have scored this debate. Chidima, you have a total deduction of 7 points. It brings your score from 88.5 to 81.5. Malizu, you have a diction infraction deduction of 6 points. Congratulations, you win with 83.5 of the points. Ilechukwu Malizu is into the quarterfinals. Relieved, no doubt.
Relieved,
but
you can
what
tell.
a battle.
Ay.
Sheriff, where is my tab, by the way? Somebody, and Ken, by the way, I was looking for some of the shots from both Malizu and Olajolo. These debates, they fill you with goosebumps just sitting here and listening to them again. I won't forget that debate where is that Alexandra Chidima
Richard, yes.
quoted scripture to justify a lie.
And she wasn't lying either.
She didn't lie.
Malizu won that. How the mighty have
What was
fallen.
the point difference again? Was it that much?
It wasn't much. It was a very close debate. It was one filled with tension. And in the end, she was able to look at the time. We're getting ready for the should we skip the quarterfinals? So no, you know what? Let's do the quarterfinals.
Mm-hmm.
Let us do the quarterfinals of Olajolo and Ilechukwu.
I support the motion. Is technology making us lazier? Technology reduces the need for physical effort, contributing to a global health crisis. The WHO reports that 23% of adults and 81% of adolescents fail to meet recommended physical health activity levels driven by sedentary screen time. And while fitness apps like Fitbit exist, they fail to offset the inactiveness caused by streaming and gaming.
Technology is not a force that controls us, it's a tool we control. To blame technology for laziness is to blame the tool for the user. As the saying goes, a poor craftsman blames the tool. It is not technology that dictates our action, but it's not technology that dictates our action, but it's a tool that we control.
Automation removes the need for human decision making and problem-solving skills. A McKinsey report showed that 45% of jobs will be automated by 2030. While automation can boost productivity, it leaves us unprepared for works that require human intervention. The human spirit strives on perseverance, and by creating a system where automation makes everything simpler, we risk raising a generation that cannot survive adversity.
Technology is a tool that amplifies human potential, not diminishes it. If the capital fails to build, they will blame the hammer? Of course not. Blaming technology is equally misguided.
Technology provides a means of passive consumption. A Nisley report showed that America spends 4 hours daily on social media and streaming platforms. And I agree, these streaming platforms can improve creativity. But because it prioritizes consumption, it reduces participation in real-world activities. A passive consumption culture will only stifle creativity and cultural vibrancy.
Artificial intelligence has advanced healthcare by aiding in disease diagnosis and drug discovery, requiring active participation from researchers and developers. Additionally, technology is like a ladder. It helps us climb higher without staying stagnant at the bottom.
Technology removes the need for cognitive effort. Tools like spell checkers and GPS undermine key skills like spatial reasoning and grammar. And by when we highlight efficiencies in this, we're only trying to limit intellectual development.
My opponents mentioned students rely on AI and presence on AI. Well, I'll tell you that technology does not replace human responsibility, but rather it's enhanced problem solving. It enhances problem solving and efficiency. For instance, AI-powered tools help analyze data quickly, which can help professionals and students to make better informed choices while saving time.
Hope you know that technology in its design is made to intensify laziness. Look at the historical development of technology. From the industrial age, it was a 50-50 thing. you put in efforts to get your machines to work. But now technological advancements, even said by Elon Musk in one of his last engagements, shows that they are trying to make technology in a way that does not even require human intervention. Doesn't that foster laziness? You also fail to give us a good definition of laziness, and you are focusing on the word lazy. Humans are generally have the tendency to be lazy, but the focus of this debate is lazier.
Blaming technology for laziness is like blaming a bridge for people not crossing it. It overlooks the agent of the individual. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed judges, technology is not the culprit behind laziness. It's a gift that unlocks human potential. It allows the paralyzed to walk, the lost to find their way, and the curious to unlock and explore the vast depth of knowledge. It's a paintbrush for the artists. It's a paintbrush for the artists. It's a paintbrush for the artists, the compass for the explorer, and the bridge for the dreamer to cross into reality. If laziness exists, it's not because of technology, but because of the choices we make.
Technology often promotes passive consumption. Why have a hobby or engage in meaningful activities or even leave your house when endless entertainment is just a click away? This isn't about willpower, it's about environment. This system creates an environment where passive consumption is more rewarding, more easier than active engagement. And in this shallow engagement, motivation dwindles as a cycle of distraction and inaction continues.
It's a deduction of 9 points apiece for both of you, which brings the total scoring to 123.5 to 114.5 to the winner and first semi-finalists, Olajolo Akinloluwa of Wellspring College. Congratulations to you, kiddo. Congratulations to you.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Yes, the hour is upon us as the finals debate begin to look in. And in this debate, we've seen some great debaters.
Absolutely.
Who have fallen by the wayside.
Joseph from Ogudu says, good afternoon. Better people in the studio. Good afternoon to you as well, Joseph. Did I tune in late, or what is the reason debate has not taken place by now? The debate is scheduled for 4 p.m. We're just having a quick review at this time. So in about 12 minutes, you will meet the debaters, and of course, the debates will commence. By the way, Lagos, auditions for the debates in February, March next year have opened. Okay? Visit the website www.nigeriainfo.fm to see how you can enter the competition next year. And by you, I mean your kids, okay? Not you, not the Agbayas, but your kids. If you think you have a kid with a smart mouth, with a talking spirit, bring them to I Beg to Differ. Bring them here. Simply visit the website www.nigeriainfo.fm to see how your kids can enter the tournament. Remember, they have to be between ages 12 and 16, okay? They have to be between ages 12 and 16 to participate. By 12, I mean they should be in at least JSS 3, okay? JSS 3.
All right. Let's quickly hear the other. Oh, by the way, if you go to X, Yvonne, and scroll all the way to December 5, there's a visual that we might just scroll down from the profile account of the Nigeria Info profile account. While we do that, let's just hear Ilechukwu's quarterfinal debate.
We cannot expect developing nations to abide by the same labor as developed nations. It's about meeting them where they are and helping them rise. This quote was said by Bill Gates, a philanthropist and a co-founder of Microsoft. While the word exploit often evokes negative emotion, let us look at this issue pragmatically. Exploitation in this context means providing jobs that are better than the alternatives available, paving the way for economic growth and development.
It's unethical to benefit from the poverty of workers. By exploiting labor in developing countries, multinational corporations take advantage of people, their need for employment, and that alone violates many ethical standards.
Critics often argue that multinational corporation wages are low, but they often pay more than the local standards, offering better opportunities than subsistence farming or informal labor.
A 2018 study shows that garment workers in Ethiopia earn 30% more than they would for subsistence farming or informal labor.
Exploitation by multinational corporations violates human rights as workers face unsafe working environments, low wages, and long work hours. The International Labour Organization has reported that these workers can work up to 80 hours a week, which is twice the legal standard, without adequate compensation. Not only is this morally reprehensible, it also violates international human rights standards.
Multinational corporations contribute significantly to the gross domestic product, GDPs, of developing countries, helping them build stronger economies and create more opportunities for their citizens.
It's unethical because these multinational corporations have a choice. They have a choice to not exploit labor. Let's not forget that these corporations have net worth of hundreds of millions, maybe even billions. They can afford to pay workers higher wages to ensure a sustainable environment and to respect the rights of these workers. But instead, they prioritize excessive profit making over the well-being.
Imagine a fisherman who struggles daily to catch enough fish to feed his family. A passing merchant notices his plight and offers him work at a steady wage for a large market. Though the pay isn't much by global standards, it's far better than his uncertain catches before. This is the story of millions in developing countries. Multinational corporations provide jobs that help reduce poverty.
My opponents mentioned that exploitation of labor brings about economic growth and development. I strongly disagree. Many multinational corporations do not invest enough profit do not reinvest their profits into developing nations. A study conducted by the United Nations on Development and Trade found out that multinational corporations only invest about 0.02% of their profits into local economies. This cannot facilitate any form of economic growth and development.
My opponents also stated that it affects the labor market, but multinational corporations create more demand for goods in developing countries. The real question is how developing countries should take advantage of multinational corporations, not whether multinational corporations are taking advantage of developing countries.
Let's not forget that these exploitatory practices undermine fundamental human rights as laborers work long hours, up to 80 hours a week under poor working conditions, yet they are paid wages below living standards, below the international poverty line. Let's not also forget that this labor exploitation leads to loss of lives. Over 2.8 million people die each year from labor exploitation. Are we still questioning if it's ethical for multinational corporations to do what they do?
And so our final scoring is those. Judge Ama scores it 33.5 to 39. Malizu. Judge Ufoma scores it 37.5 to 43. Malizu. And Chief Judge Chike scores it 32.5 to 35.5. Malizu. That's 103.5 to 117.5. The deductions are equal, so the final score by 113.5 points to 99.5 points. Our winner, final semi-final qualifier from King's Anchor College, Ilechukwu. Malizu, congratulations. Plenty to take in there. And that took us to the semi-finals. Interesting debate. But our time is upon us now. I don't know if we can take a little bit of the semi-finals. Because those semi-finals were very, very important.
Yeah, we do not have the time anymore.
We do not have the time, unfortunately. But I'll just give you a tiny little taste of one of those semi-final battles.
Jonathan Powell, the author of Terrorists at the Table, has argued that without negotiation, we cannot end armed conflicts. Any government that can withstand its own pressure and choosing negotiations stands the chance of long-term management of threats over a long period of gradual group demise. Negotiation of peace agreements with terrorist countries can have the gains of lesser destruction. Negotiations are less destructive as compared to other responses to terrorism, such as violent counterattacks.
The public policy professor, Louis Shirley, warns that negotiation with terrorist groups makes justice seem negotiable. Justice is about accountability and never allowing violence to influence our society.
But negotiations reduce radicalities as they address the root causes of terrorism.
A microphone to violence, that's what negotiating with terrorists is. The voices of those oppressed, silenced by those who wield the gun. The 2020 US Taliban deals only showed a 37% surge in violent perpetrators and recruitment within the Taliban. If negotiation is a way to embolden terror, aren't we complicit in spreading the flames?
Engaging in negotiations help resolve conflicts as well as address the underlying grievances which may contribute to the excesses of terrorist groups.
What about Nigeria's promise with the Boko Haram, cloaked as negotiation? The result, more than 50 plus people killed, millions displaced. By setting a precedent that violence works, we're only inviting more violence. You spoke on long-term peace. Negotiations have always historically shown to be short-term situations, not leading to long-term peace. When in Afghanistan they negotiated with Taliban, aren't they still currently facing the resurgency of the Taliban? So I still don't get why you can commit a complete fallacy like that.
My opponent also assessed that negotiations promote further terrorism. Negotiations do not in any way promote further terrorism or any more violence, because I need you to understand that terrorism are caused by a number of factors such as poverty, lack of human rights, opposition, and so many others. So when the two parties can come together and reach a mutual agreement, then these terrorists can shift base and they will no longer be an issue.
You spoke on motivation. Why should we understand the motivation of people who just want to kill our society? You can say that we can reinstate them into society, but truly, we should only reinstate them into prison.
My opponent also says that
you know what? Well, interesting. That semi-final, which was kind of an emotional day for all of us here. It was also when we bade farewell to Ocheja Abigail, right. Who had been one of the topmost favorites to win this season. It was a day she battled through ill health to just be here. It was her least effective debate of the entire tournament, and it happened in the semi-finals. And you already know she had to undergo another medical procedure yesterday, which is why she's not here for the third place battle. How time flies. A little bit of Ilechukwu Malizu's semi-final.
Amuke David will say that physical beauty should impact personal success.
Beauty may only be skin deep, but its impact reaches far deeper, shaping perceptions, opportunities, and outcome in a way we may not even realize. People naturally associate beauty with positive traits like intelligence, competence, and kindness. This psychological phenomenon is known as the halo effect. In 2014, a study published by the Journal of Businesses and Psychology reveals that attractive individuals are more likely to gain hired or promoted. Even in trials, attractive defendants are more likely to get lenient sentences than less attractive ones. Imagine two salespeople selling identical products. The one with a well-groomed, pleasing appearance will win over customer because they are subconsciously seen as more credible and approachable. Next, beauty amplifies networking opportunities. Networking centers, business meeting, and social gathering rewards those individuals who can draw attention and make a memorable impression.
Let me start off by saying that inner qualities matter more. Beauty is temporary, but not qualities like character, integrity, and hard work, which also ensure long-term success. Personal success should not be impacted by physical beauty, but rather inner qualities, because they ensure long-term personal growth and respect. Beauty is only skin deep. We should not focus on a person's appearance, but rather their inner qualities.
Beauty pays dividends. Physical beauty translates into tangible economic benefits like higher salaries and better career prospects. According to economist Daniel Mamame's books, beauty pays. Attractive people earn 12 to 14% more than their less attractive peers over their lifetime.
Allowing physical beauty to impact personal success leads to bias and discrimination against people with disabilities or people that do not conform to society beauty standards. This can create a situation where talented and capable individuals do not succeed purely because of their appearance, undermining meritocracy and contributing to systemic discrimination. Beauty standards vary across different cultures and individuals. What one individual sees that as attractive, another may not. African beauty standards are different from Asian beauty standards. What is attractive today will not be attractive in the future. This inconsistency makes it unfair for something so subjective, so variable to impact one's success.
All right, we'll leave it at that. And with that said, it is time now for the finals.
That's right. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, Lagos, it'll be time to do battle.
No doubt.